Hey everyone, welcome to this episode of the Crypto Leviathan podcast. I'm your host Dalibor. This is Andrew. Welcome to the show. Andrew, what have we been seeing today? More panic in the market. Crypto rebounding a little bit. Now it's dropping off again. What are your thoughts? What's going on?
I haven't really been following the market, just been a little busy with work. But I did come across a interesting article. So I don't know if you remember, but there was a guy who had I think a hard drive, like an encrypted hard drive with some Bitcoin. Well, not some Bitcoin, hundreds of millions of dollars worth of Bitcoin. I think he had 8,000 Bitcoin, and he had thrown the computer out. I guess I don't know if it was by accident or back when maybe he thought Bitcoin was worthless, and then for the past like decade or so, he's been trying to retrieve the hard drive from a landfill. But it's quite the undertaking to try to retrieve it. So his newest plan is that he's going to use a Boston Dynamics robotic dog to scan for the drive. We'll see how effective that is. So for those who don't know, Boston Dynamics is I guess they make, what would you say, like prototype robots in various form factors, such as dogs, other animals, and in humanoid form as well. Google owned them for a brief period of time. I'm not sure if Google still owns them, but these robots have industrial use cases, military perhaps, as well as home use. And you can actually buy the robotic dog now. I think it was like 25,000 US or something. And you have to sign a promise that you will not weaponize it.
Yeah, I think Google does still own Boston Dynamics. But my question is, if it's a regular hard drive with like a disk, those degrade. So if it's kept outside in like moist or wet conditions, it's done. It's going to be unusable.
But for $176 million is worth attempting. You might be able to recover it through some sort of like forensic technique, like plugging it into a external enclosure and plugging it into your computer's USB drive. I doubt that'll work, but maybe through some sort of I don't know, electron scan microscope or something, you may be able to retrieve enough. Who knows? But for $176 million, man.
Yeah, but it also depends how damaged the disk is, right?
Yeah.
Or how degraded it is. Because if the part that specifically stored the Bitcoin wallet is degraded, well, you're out of luck.
So this is in the UK. But imagine that having thrown away 8,000 Bitcoin and the rough area where it is.
Mr. Elon Musk has been doing some stuff in crypto, and he's talking crypto. So Tesla has sold all of its crypto holdings again, Bitcoin, and it's setting into market plunging because of that. Anything a man says, man, causes crypto to go up and down. Like either A, can he either be quiet and get out of crypto, or B, can he stop, pumping and dumping it? Because it seems like that's what he did. He just sold it all off. And now the SEC is actually, I think, trying to sue him for it. I forget, for impairment charge on Bitcoin holdings.
Um, I don't know. We'll see. He flip flops a lot.
Do you think he's getting a little bit unhinged as he's getting older?
I don't know, maybe, but he's also like a troll, right? So he does things just
Yeah,
to
I don't
piss
know.
people off.
That's the thing. It's like he has so much money. So he could just be messing with people, or he could just be, serious and change his mind. Hard to tell with the guy. So the interesting stuff I've noticed, Andrew, is remember how we had a discussion, I think last week, about how, we're seeing that the Ethereum hash rate has been dropping, and that while it was dropping with prices, now what we're seeing is the hash rate has increased a little bit and it's leveled off, and profitability is lower, but it's still pretty good, right? I remember we just sold a bunch of Ethereum a few days ago, and it was pretty solid profits, I would say, right? So
Yeah.
what we did is we held on. So as the market kept crashing, we just didn't bother selling because we didn't know where the bottom was. Gas fees were horrendous, so we just held on, rebounded, got a quite decent chunk out. So I think the name of the game is to be patient. When this bear markets happen, just wait, because we've seen it in 2020, Andrew. Remember that craziness? How fast it dropped?
Mhm.
So that we've seen it again, I would argue, this year. So when that happens, just take your hands off the buy to sell and wait. And we're seeing in stock markets are rebounding again because we had an overcorrection. I think that was clear. Whether or not it's going to go down more, no one really knows. But like I keep saying, how much lower can it realistically go? Right? There is going to be a floor where eventually investors come back in and buy. So we're at that point. In terms of crypto mining profitability, Ethereum is still great. In terms of Bitcoin, I would say it's still garbage. So I would not be mining Bitcoin right now. Yes, it's profitable, but barely so. Well, you are making very slim margins on the latest machines.
What's the latest on proof of stake?
They say it's coming in September, but as you know, we will wait and see.
Let's do some predictions. I'm gonna say minimum 12 months minimum.
Okay. I predict they will delay it till next year.
I'm gonna say between 12 and 36 months.
Okay. I I think at least a year. That's my prediction.
Yeah.
We should have some sort of bet on it, like where we have to eat something if we're wrong in the future.
Yeah. We can bet push-ups.
Yeah, push-ups.
It'll do whatever your prediction is, the 10 times on push-ups.
Okay. So you're 12 to 24 months. So you have to pick a date because otherwise you're either doing 120 or 240 push-ups.
Or no, what you'll do is like say you picked I don't know, December 15th or something like that. It would be 1, 2, 1, 5. That's how many push-ups you gotta do.
All right. All right. So be it. I predict they're going to announce it for Q2 next year. The next time they're going to say it's going to be released.
Q2. I don't know. I'm gonna say, what are we? We're almost in August 2022. I'll say August 2023 at the least.
So they'll delay it one whole year. That's what you're predicting.
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll see. But regardless, we both don't think it's coming out in September.
No. And they've delayed it multiple times.
For many
It's like,
years.
It's like that alarm clock in the morning, 5 more minutes.
5 more minutes, 5 more minutes. And then it's like, oh shit, I'm 2 hours late for work.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. So another interesting thing, Andrew, I think what we're seeing is like the bond market start topping off. And why is this important? Well, because a lot of crypto miners, these large scale, took on large amounts of debt to finance their operations. So as interest rates were going up, the payments on these debt was going up. So a lot of them were going underwater. That's why we had that massive sell-off 2-3 months ago, because they had to dump large amounts of their positions because interest rates went up 75 basis points or 0.75%. And it caused a lot of these big miners to have to liquidate their Bitcoin holdings because we had the double whammy: debts going up and profits going down in mining. So what the market is telling us right now is we could potentially see maybe 2 to 3 more rate hikes, up to 75 more basis points or 0.75 before we start leveling off or going down again. That's the peak. In terms of mining, what does that mean? It means that pretty soon we'll be able to predict again how much debt will cost. So when you want to load up on debt to mine, not saying they should do it, we don't do it because we find it too risky. But if you are going to do it, you will know at least what interest rates you're looking at, so you can predict the ROIs much better. Because right now you have no idea what the interest rates will be at next month. So how you're supposed to load up on debt, you really can't. So that's what's happening, and I predict we probably won't see any Bitcoin mining expansion. Ethereum, because people are thinking that it's happening in September, there won't be as much expansion either. So we could potentially see liquidation of graphics cards, of mining equipment start within the next 2 to 3 months, because profitability in some areas with higher electricity is non-existent right now. So it might be, if you're a crypto miner, start stocking up if you're profitable and look for deals. And graphics cards have come down in price. They're not at, pre-boom era prices. They probably never will be, but there will be deals coming. That's all I can say. So keep your eyes open for that.
absolutely. A couple other pieces of news. I don't know if I mentioned last week, but I think I saw an article that the New York Yankees are proposing to pay or giving their staff the option of being paid in Bitcoin. So I thought that was interesting. That's something you would have seen in the headlines back in the bull market, less so now. So I thought that was interesting.
Would you want to be paid in Bitcoin?
Right now, no, because I have bills to pay. So I have a friend of mine. He does a lot of freelance photography and videography work, and he got paid by a Bitcoin company. I'm not sure which one, to film at a like exotic car show, and they offered him Bitcoin, so he didn't take it. He took Canadian dollars. If I would maybe do a portion, like I would do a percentage, perhaps.
Yeah, I agree. I think if I can save on fees and then going through the entire banking system, I would like that. Just send it to my wallet, right? Avoid the gotta cut out the middlemen.
Tax free.
Yeah, I don't know if it'd be tax free, but the gains will be tax free.
Yeah.
Wink, wink.
Um, what else? Um, what was the theory that you told me earlier today about one of the reasons why the U.S. may be increasing interest rates?
Well, it's I watched it on whose YouTube channel? Oh, George Gammon, and he was basically saying that they are trying to increase interest rates. Inflation's a good cover for it because they want to cripple Russia's economy. So part of the way they're thinking about doing it is because the IMF uh, has a bunch of debt that's denoted in US dollars, right? So if they increase interest rates, that means the payment on that debt will go up in value. So you're gonna have to convert more of your currency to that US dollar to pay down the debt. So your currency will be devalued in relationship to the dollar because you need more dollars to pay down the debt. Makes sense, right?
Mhm.
So because you need more US dollars goes up. And what does that do? It makes everything more expensive because all commodities, basically all 70% of the global trade is done in US dollars. And what does that do? It kills demand because when prices go up, it kills demand. So we're going to see, their goal is through increasing the strength of the US dollar, uh, demand will crumble, which will send oil prices down. So that's basically the theory in a nutshell. And how that will work? I don't know. It seems kind of a little bit far-fetched to me because you're willing to risk hurting your country and many other countries that are even allied to you in order to do this. So I don't really think that, I could be wrong, they could be totally off the rails in doing this, but it seems to me that it would be highly risky maneuver.
Um, how will this ever? How can we ever verify this? Because that may be the end result, but you can't really prove for sure what their intentions were.
No, you can't, but like I said, it could, like, I don't know, like, to me inflation was high to begin with even before they officially announced it, so it could have been a good cover, I guess, but we never know. Our podcast is not talking about these type of things. How does it relate to Bitcoin? Well, a stronger US dollar will mean that Bitcoin will probably be more expensive in relation to other currencies, but US it won't. So it might not increase in terms of US dollars, but it will increase in other currencies. So I guess that's the best way of summarizing it.
Oh, it's
And
an
that's it.
interesting.
And that's important to know because if you see, for example, if you see it going up in Canadian dollars, but the US is staying the same, that doesn't mean it's going up in value. That means your currency is going down in value. So Bitcoin might be a good hedge for currencies that are being devalued. That's
Oh,
why I brought it up.
it's an interesting analysis either way.
Yeah.
I'm just looking up whether or not there's any updates on Texas Bitcoin mining. This is from 3 days ago from Yahoo Finance. They just reported that because miners had shut down due to the heat wave, they were told to by the utility company, that hash rate dropped 5% on Thursday. So that was this past Thursday. I'm not sure if it's back up yet, but I think that was the last most recent piece of news on that. So I'm not sure if they're all shut down. I'm not sure what the temperature is or anything like that in Texas right now.
Interesting. Yeah, it's tough to say with like Texas does not has issues with their mining grid. Like I think I've discussed this in the previous podcast, right?
Well, what was the issue? Didn't they have a storm, like a flash freeze or something like that?
Yeah,
And
they had a flash freeze. And I think the incident after was well, during the heat wave, they're worried that they'll have blackouts because they won't have enough power. So clearly they have issues with energy in Texas.
hmm,
One thing I did read was interesting is the SEC is investigating Coinbase because they were trading tokens, and they're trying to say that these tokens is amount to insider trading. So that will be interesting, right?
you mean they weren't just a platform, like they were trading themselves?
Yeah, so executives and like I think Coinbase created their own token and they were trading it amongst themselves and they were
Hmm.
selling it. So it's interesting because they're trying to argue that this is like a share, right? So it's bound by insider trading rules, while others are saying it's not. So it's gonna be interesting what happens in that area.
I think they can interpret various coins or tokens to be shares or stocks if they so choose. So it's kind of I feel like it's kind of arbitrary which ones they go after.
Yeah, but it's tough because if you imagine if you're now a developer on like Polkadot or something, now does that mean I can no longer, buy and sell Ethereum or Polkadot freely? It kind of sucks, right?
Yeah, it'll have interesting implications.
But I mean it already applies. I know in my company I can only sell, stocks, shares of the company I work at. It's only certain times of the year. And I assume Andrew, if you get stocks at a company?
No,
No. But if you did, it would probably be the same thing where you can only sell during certain times of the year. Otherwise, it's insider trading. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Regulation is coming to this space. We're not sure what form it will take, but we're slowly getting to the position where we're seeing what they're trying to target. Right? They want to be able to trace transactions. They want to make sure you can't IPO a coin and just sell it all off and scam people. They're really targeting scammers too. I don't know about you, Andrew, but aren't you tired of seeing like comments in Facebook and like on so many posts of like crypto scammers? It's crazy.
there's some coins that can never. I'm shocked even Dogecoin, any of those things have any value. But there's a coin called Scrotum Coin. I came across that one.
I was looking at my DMs like a few days ago, and like because I have a general DM column for when random people message me, and one guy was like, "Oh, I can make you a millionaire overnight. Buy this crypto coin." And I'm like, "All right." I look up what this crypto coin is. It was legitimately like some no coin I've never heard of, and it was like or 3,000th on the list. I'm like, the there's so many scammers out there. I don't even know how to stop them. That's the thing. They're so aggressive too, and it kind of poisons the well, right, for crypto because people get constantly messaged about this. So they assume like me and you are scammers, but we're not. We're not even selling anything to people, right? At the end of the day, we're just talking about crypto.
Yeah, they'll associate anybody who has anything to do with crypto with scams.
And that is a problem for the industry. As much as like me and you talk great things about it, this scam part is a huge problem because it's ruining the credibility and it's slowing down the rate of adoption because people associate crypto with scam, and that's not how it should be.
Is there any other news from Coinbase? How are they doing financially or staffing wise?
Well, I think we discussed this previously, but they rescinded offers. There isn't really much updates. Um, they're not really hiring. So we'll see what happens. Like when companies do drastic things like this, it impacts them long term, right? Because I don't know about you, but like I would never work there again. I would never even apply there again.
Yeah, there could definitely be issues attracting talent down the road.
Yeah, because if you rescind my offer, like I don't depend. I'll just explain to it in case you have international viewers. The way it works in Canada, US is when you receive a job offer, it's normally custom to give 2 weeks notice and then you start your other job. But what Coinbase did was, so let's say you gave your 2 week notice to your current employer. During that 2 week notice period, they rescinded your offer, which means that they canceled it, that you no longer had this job that you were starting in 2 weeks.
And you got to go back to your, current employer that you had given notice for with your tail between your legs.
Basically. And let's be honest, Andrew, lots of them will probably be like, go away, Some of them might be nice and let you stick around, but I assume some of them won't,
Depends on, I guess, your relationship with that company and kind of how you resigned.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what Coinbase did. And it will haunt them for many, many years, I would say, to come, because they're not going to attract talent as easily as they used to.
Mhm.
It's different. I would say it would be different if they brought them on and laid off people, right? Or you made it to probation, they laid you off. But the fact that you quit your job and to start this one is just despicable to me.
We'll see. People have short memories, so if it's another bull market and they're offering 1.5 times the industry norm for that skill set.
But that's the only thing they'll have. That's the only way they'll be able to attract talent. They'll be like an Amazon, right? Where people will dislike the company. They're only going to work there for money. And as soon as they get experience, they're going to look elsewhere. And have you dealt with any Amazon recruiters lately, Andrew? My God,
No.
they're aggressive.
No, I've never actually had any Amazon recruiters reach out to me before. I also have my LinkedIn settings set to like I don't know what it's called, but like not interested kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
So
Like it was like my daily. I had like a daily, oh no, weekly message from an Amazon recruiter all the time. And what I've noticed recently, it stopped. I don't know why. I suspect it's because it's because of like the summertime vacations. Because right now, it's July, right? Everyone's mostly on vacation, so it's pretty slow. Everything is slow. So that's what I suspect. But Amazon, like, just to put in context for anyone who's not in the tech industry, Amazon is a huge problem attracting talent. So they have a culture that basically the bottom 10% get fired every year in their company. And that's managers, that's employees from top to bottom. It doesn't matter. Bottom 10% is out. And they have such a high turnover rate because there's no work-life balance at Amazon. There is just a high expectation that you will deliver. And is that a good thing or bad thing? They pay you extremely well. So if that's your forte, if you want to be paid well and work very hard, Amazon is, the company to go to. But if you want some more work-life balance, it's not, you won't necessarily find it in that company. So because of the type of culture they have, they burn through a lot of employees because a lot of employees get there, get experience, and then leave. So it's basically like, they rely on a funnel of constantly new applicants and new people coming in, essentially.
would you say that a large demographic of people who might accept these risks are probably new grads who don't have anything to lose?
Yeah, new grads. If I lost my job, or if you lost your job, I would work there just because I need something, right?
Right. Actually, so right out of university, I applied to Amazon for a position. I think they posted on our university's job board, and it was for area manager. But then you find out you're not like when you think area manager, you think like you're the manager for like a region.
Yeah, like a
They mean,
county or something like that.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, they mean you're the manager for an area of the warehouse, like a quadrant of the warehouse. So I didn't end up going to the interview. I had two friends that went. One didn't get the job. The other one got it. She worked there for a number of years, got transferred to the States, and then ended up leaving. She didn't like it. It was not the greatest culture or work environment. And then most recently, I guess I'm in the system. I had an email from an Amazon recruiter. So I guess I did get an email from Amazon recruiter, and it was for assistant manager for Amazon Fresh grocery store in New Jersey. So that was, very odd. I guess they just, I don't know, just blanket messaged everyone who was in the database who was just, in there, but not not really my sector.
Yeah. And the reason we're talking about Amazon is like I said, like I have nothing against the company. I think they have a great business model. I just think the way they run their business and they treat their employees, it's hard. Long term, they will have issues. That's the only thing I think we both agree on, right?
And I guess in terms of trying to build in a little crypto talk in here, I think Amazon did have like a token that you could use, but it was basically a like a I don't even know if it was blockchain based, but they had their own coin for a little while that was essentially worked in the same way as their gift cards, but that was short lived. I don't think I see that around anymore.
Yeah, and I think Facebook had Libra that there was a massive outrage, so they never launched.
There's a an article I just came across. I think I don't know if they're current. Oh, I assume they're probably not current, but they're Facebook or Meta platforms alumni. They're going to start their own crypto project, and they've raised 150 million to do it. So perhaps something will come out of this.
That's good.
Just back to Amazon real quick. Do you ever have this issue where because I don't know how often you buy things from Amazon. I used to quite a bit. I've not so much lately. But if you search for something, I usually only want to, as much as possible, only want to buy it from Amazon. I don't want to buy it from the marketplace. And I find that depending on which filter you use, you may or may not see Amazon as a seller. Like it's not consistent. I find like their search algorithm is just not consistent. Have you ever, do you find that that's true?
Depends on what I'm searching for, but I think their search algorithm is personalized to what you purchase.
Well, let's put it this way. So let's just say I shop for I'm looking for microphones. Okay.
Hmm.
So I type in microphones, I see a bunch of microphones from all kinds of sellers. Right off the bat on the desktop app, or sorry, the browser version, on the left hand, generally for at least for me, I don't see the option to filter sellers until I click a category. So although I've already seen mics, I have to then click computer accessories or something, and then I can see the sellers. Now, um, and you might see Amazon as well as a bunch of other random sellers. But say I add another filter, if I add in a price of which, this maybe this microphone is being sold by Amazon for say $25, and I put on the filter for 20 to 30, you would expect this to show up, but then all of a sudden nothing from Amazon shows up. So a lot of just inconsistent behavior I've noticed in the years.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't use it that much. Like I haven't used Amazon that much, maybe for a couple months now, right? Not because of choice. I just had nothing to buy or no
I've
need to
been
buy.
yeah, as much as possible, I'm just going to go to like Walmart or Best Buy going forward.
Why?
Other little things. Did you know that Amazon apparently you can get scammed there, even if it's shipped from and sold by Amazon for some products? There are high instances of fraud. So SD cards is one of them. And I think what happens is from what I've read, because if you just try to get a SanDisk, I don't know, 32 gigabyte SD card shipped from and sold by Amazon, you look at the reviews, a lot of people mention that they're getting scammed. They're getting cards that are just counterfeit. They look like SanDisk, but they might have like 500 megabytes or a gig or something like that, and it's just pretty much it's like a cheaper I don't know what you call it, like a cheaper piece of storage inside there, and then it's just counterfeit, mislabeled, and made by like an unknown generic manufacturer.
Well,
So,
let me ask you this question: how many of those reviews do you think are fraudulent?
well, I looked into it on Reddit and a couple other articles, and it seems like it does happen. And the theory is that, so say you and we have a business and we want to sell on Amazon. We want to be like it's our store, but it's fulfilled by Amazon. You know what I mean? You've bought things like that before. You've seen them. But if it's the same SKU and the exact same item, Amazon will take that. So say there's like a hundred sellers selling the same SD card and sold as Amazon. Amazon will just throw them all in a bin together. I think that's where it's happening, and people are just mixing in their counterfeits that way.
Interesting.
Yeah. So
Yeah, like in any space, right? There's a lot of fraud and anything new or anything lightly regulated. So, um, but yeah, but so right now with crypto, I think we're seeing some. I would say, how do you say consolidation, Andrew? Is that the right term? Like where we're seeing like some players, drop out of the space, People sell off their equipment, less people interested. Like, I don't know about you, Andrew, but if you talk to like people right now, no one's talking about crypto. It's like a dead topic.
Oh, yeah, I think consolidation might be accurate. Do you know anyone who's selling equipment, or have you come across a lot of ads or posts?
I've started seeing some, mining equipment sets being sold on like Kijiji and Facebook Marketplace, but the prices are absurd. So I don't think we're at that point yet where, it makes sense to start picking stuff up. Maybe a couple more months away.
Hmm.
But yeah, for example, I was talking to some people in public this weekend, and people just, I remember occasionally you'd hear that crypto this conversation, or like the stock market. Everyone's moved on from that. Everyone's biggest topic now is like real estate, going down. So it's pretty interesting how you know nobody's looking at this space right now. So there's probably I would say good opportunities right now, getting staking some coins, buying into some projects, getting some NFTs that drop massively in price. So I would say right now, because the market's kind of stabilized, it could go up or down. I'm not going to say that we're profits here and it's going to go up. It could go, but we've lost so much value. I think there's more upside than downside at this point.
Let's buy Bored Ape.
I was looking at them. They're still very expensive.
Are there any NFTs that were super expensive but we always knew were crap that have dropped in price?
I would say not as much as I would like.
Hmm.
So let me see. You can get a Bored Ape for 88 Ethereum now. So yeah, it's come down, I would say, quite a bit in terms of dollars and in terms of Ethereum.
So for that price, would you rather have a Bored Ape or supercar?
I think we both know the answer to that. I don't know.
Bored Ape.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh,
No,
this is interesting. So I saw this ad a little while ago. So the watchmaker, Swiss luxury watchmaker Tag Heuer, they have a line of smartwatches, but their newest one, it has the ability to, I guess maybe the screen's always on, but it's I think the article had a Bored Ape in there. So the idea is that the watch face would be an NFT that you own.
that's interesting.
So we'll see if other watchmakers jump on board. I mean, I don't know if there's anything stopping you from putting a like a JPEG or a PNG as a watch face anyway. But I guess it's just built in, like they probably have like a specific app for it or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, we already have smart watches with that capability, right? So they're just extending it now to like more traditional watches. Yeah, seems reasonable.
What else are they gonna say?
There's a couple of interesting projects I've been seeing where I think we talked about this before, where Tom Brady created a company to verify signatures on the blockchain. So another thing that we're seeing is um, watches having NFTs like tied to them. So for example, I know Kevin O'Leary, I think, was talking about this in a podcast, but essentially each watch, like a luxury watch that's uniquely identifiable, like a Rolex, Omega, those really high end ones, they're going to have a unique NFT token for each one that you can verify it. So if you try to scam or create a fake, it's going to be tougher because there's going to be like a verification process for this on the NFT as an NFT.
Well, I know Breitling, they have an app using blockchain to, I guess, verify ownership, so they can kind of track, or if you're a purchaser, you can track the last owner kind of thing, so you can make sure through that method that it's authentic. So I think it's interesting to see more and more companies using blockchain technologies, whether it be NFTs or otherwise, as a form of verification. So I know that another interesting use case I saw, not watches, but it was for, I don't remember which school. Maybe it was I think it was an Ivy League school. It was a method for them to transmit transcripts so that you couldn't like doctor them and then submit them to another school or employer. So traditionally, if you wanted verified, guaranteed transcripts. You would have to get your institutions to send it to directly to whoever you want to receive them. But this is another method using the blockchain, so should speed things up.
And let me just put into context here, just so everyone who doesn't know. But transcripts, when you send them, a lot of the times you receive your transcripts, official ones, and then you send them to the school. So that's a lot of the times how you can apply. And a lot of people, what they do is they edit these transcripts when they receive them because they're in digital copies, and then send them off to the school they're applying to. And these schools obviously don't want to contact them, or it's too much work. So they just accept these transcripts because they are official technically, but you can just edit the PDF. You've seen that, Andrew. You just get a PDF, right?
It depends on like what the purpose is, but like say if you're going to grad school, sometimes they have a system built in where it bypasses you completely. It gets directly sent from school to school, and you request it though. So it depends. Like I guess it
I
really
know I applied to grad school, like, and they never asked for it. So it could be like, it depends on the school, I guess.
depends on the school. Perhaps like depends on previous instances of fraud, like what they've encountered. So
But unless they verify it, they're not going to catch you, right? That's the thing. So it's kind of like, I would say it's more like an honor system right now, but I think we know that honor systems are doomed to fail eventually.
yeah, it suffers
So
from
so one, it takes
tragedy of
one,
the commons.
yeah, it takes one person to ruin it for everyone, right? Yeah, so that's basically like where the applications I see happening, right? So you can like anything that requires verification, I would say. So as much as I hate it, the ArriveCan app, if it was on blockchain, you wouldn't be able to fake stuff, right? It's like, hey, this is my vaccine passport. Here I'm coming to get it scanned. If it's on the blockchain, how are you going to fake that you have one? You can't really do anything, right? So there is uses for it, both good and bad, I would say. So you just have to pick which one's allowed in society and which one's not, I guess.
Also the cost to implement and develop and all that.
That is true. But the thing is, like all of these blockchains, you can pay back off them and just pay fees, right? So
Yeah, makes sense. Well, I think that's a full news roundup right there.
yeah. So Andrew, what are your predictions? Where is Bitcoin going to be at the end of this year?
I think in the last several weeks, it's been hovering just below 30,000 Canadian, and one as low as like probably just over 20. How many months we have left? About 4 or 5 months left in the year. I don't know. You could get mid 30s, closer to 40. It'll be a slow climb, if that.
I think we probably might be around the same. And then I'll tell you two reasons why. Number one, we have a couple more rate hikes coming, so that'll probably spook the market. There's fears of recession, so I think as we get closer to the year, there'll be more fear. But I think it will be in between the $25,000 to $30,000 range, closer to the $30,000 range though.
Canadian.
Yeah.
So pretty much what it's at today.
Yeah, I don't think it'll go up or down. I think we'll be flat for the rest of the year.
Okay.
It will go bounce up and down, but that's my prediction.
What about Ethereum profitability?
I'll say the same, because the thing is, there's constantly people in fear of Ethereum, right? There's constantly people in fear, like the developers are going to do something to make it unmineable. They're going to do something to, proof of stake's going to come out, etc. So there's a lot of fear in this space. So I think profitability will stay the same. What the price of Ethereum will be, I don't know. I think around $2,000 is probably where we'll be at as well, just because, there is upward pressure on Ethereum because they are burning transaction fees. However, we're in a negative news cycle. I think we're both aware of that. And then mentality is also negative of people, and we have interest rates going up. So until that calms down or slowly changes, we could see flatlining where there's just a lack of interest in purchasing.
Well, we will.
What's your prediction though for Ethereum?
I don't know. Assuming we're correct and that proof of stake isn't happening in time this year, about the same.
Yeah. It actually could go down a little bit just because some people will be disappointed, some people will be happy. So like I say, 18 to 2200, maybe. That's where I predict it.
Are there any crypto conferences coming up?
Not that I'm aware of. Most of them happen like in spring or early summer. So there could be, but I'll look into that.
I'm still waiting for my passport, so as soon as I get that, I'd love to go to one in the States, somewhere warm.
Yeah, Miami next year.
Yeah. Let's plan that. Okay.
All right. Well, this concludes the episode of the podcast. If you have any questions about crypto or you just want to chat and get to know us better, feel free. You can reach out to me at Crypto Dalibor and Andrew Kryptonite. So see you guys next time.